You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, General Hospital fans. Well, Alexis Davis wants to take Sam's kids away from Jason Morgan and Drew Quartermain, and I agree that she should do it. And if they won't hand them over voluntarily, I hope she takes them to court. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to dive into the reasons these guys cannot be trusted with Sam McCall's kids now that she's dead. They have both proven they are incapable of being good dads. Before we dive in, please click that subscribe button, though. So on the Friday, November 8th episode, a grieving Alexis shows up at the Q Mansion and tells Olivia Falconeri that Danny Morgan and Scout Kane Quartermain should live with her. It sounds like Alexis wants to pack the kids into her car and take them home right then. And honestly, if she knew what Drew Quartermain and Jason Morgan have been doing in the, 1-2 days since Sam died, I think she would have a court order in her hands the same day. I hope Alexis hires Ric Lansing to rip those men a new one and get Sam's kids out of their hands ASAP. And before you yell at me in the comments that I'm being anti-Jason or anti-Drew, hear me out on this, and then you can yell at me in the comments if you want to. So just real quick, yes, I know Alexis is not problem-free. She regrets giving Sam up for adoption as a child. We just heard all about that. And I think Alexis wants to make up for it by ensuring that Sam's kids have the best possible life. And that means them being together in a stable home with a parent that cares, and that's her. And yes, Alexis is a recovered alcoholic, but she's sober and is showing no signs of slipping. In fact, when Curtis stopped by to check on her, Alexis said she would not drink because that would dishonor Sam's memory. And yeah, I believe her. Alexis was a devoted mother to Molly and Christina when she was raising them. You know, she didn't get to raise Sam, but she raised the other two. And she has literally killed to protect them. Alexis is not a perfect person, but compared to Drew and Jason, I think she's the better person to care for Sam's children, especially given what Drew and Jason have done this week. Absolutely terrible choices. Let's start with dirty dog Drew Quartermain. For months, he's been pursuing Michael Corinthos' wife, Willow Tate. And on the very day that Sam died, when Scout woke up from a nightmare, where was Drew when his daughter needed him? Oh yeah, he was banging his nephew's wife on the floor of the playroom. First of all, Scout could have walked in on them. And second of all, Drew was not in his room when she went looking for him when she needed him. He has shown that his libido overrides his conscience. He is not a good influence for that reason. And Drew has not been a good dad to Scout since Sam died. He's given her a couple of hugs, but when she really needed him, where was he? Not where he should have been, and it's just awful. If Scout was with her grandma Alexis, she would have all the love and support she needed when she needed it. So yeah, I definitely think they need to pack up her bag and let Scout go home with Alexis. And if Sam knew that Scout woke up scared and alone while Drew was off getting his jollies, I think she'd agree. Now, let's talk about Jason Morgan. And to be clear, I'm not anti-Jason, but I don't love Jason as a dad. For many years now, he put his life at risk with no regard to what it would do to his kids, how it would affect them. He prioritized other people before his kids. And I mean, heck, he prioritized other people's kids before his kids. And of course, you know that I'm talking about Sonny and Carly. He put them before everybody else and their kids before everybody else. That's his choice, but it is a fact. That's what he did. Whoever he was dating, the mothers of his children, and also his children too, were deprioritized behind Sonny, Carly, Michael, Joss, whoever. And granted, you know, Aiden was mostly raised by Liz and Lucky when he was around, but still, Jason was his dad. As for Danny, you know, Jason has been MIA for a lot of his life. And even when he was around, Jason had no problem risking his life with zero regard to how Danny would feel if his dad died. And I mean, already. Heck, how many times has Danny had to grieve thinking his father was dead because he was running around, risking his life, choosing other people over his own family with Sam? It was less of a problem in years past because Danny had Sam as his rock. But with her dead, Jason doesn't seem to realize that Danny has to come first before anybody else. He needs to put his son first for a change and for the foreseeable future. But Jason didn't do it. The first crisis that arose, Jason did what Jason always does. This week, I was shocked, and I mean kind of ill, by the choice he made. Literally 48 hours after Sam died, Jason threw himself in the line of fire to save Sasha Gilmore. Yeah, she's nice, but come on. Jason faces off with Psycho Sidwell on Friday to negotiate a trade to swap diamonds for Sasha. I mean, it's not like Holly or Robert or Sasha are Jason's best friends, and they are certainly not family, and they are certainly not his son Danny, who's grieving the death of his mother and needs his father right now. Imagine if Jason died in this little scheme and Danny lost both his parents in 1 week, because there is a bomb going off this week that Sidwell sets, and that very well could have been intended to kill Jason. Sidwell's not a fan of Jason's, but he still went in there knowing his life was at risk, all because Jason decided he needed to go clean up the mess that con woman Holly Sutton made. Jason does not belong in that hostage negotiation. He belongs with his grief-stricken son, Danny. I was absolutely sick to see that Jason decided to do that instead of showing up for his kid. So what I see is Jason and Drew either don't understand or they just don't care that they need to step up and be real fathers to their kids now that Sam has died. They have taken for granted that they could run around doing what they wanted, and Danny and Scout were safe and loved thanks to Sam, but now she is gone. Both Drew and Jason this week made choices that completely disrespected Sam's memory and any faith she had that they would be decent parents should something happen to her. Sam knew this surgery carried some risk, as all surgeries do. That's why she went to the Q Mansion and spoke to Jason and Drew. But it seemed like that was a total waste of Sam's time. For me, the bottom line is both men need to immediately sign over guardianship of Scout and Danny to their grandmother, Alexis, because let's be real, they are not going to quit making bad decisions that disregard their kids' best interests. That way, Danny and Scout can stay together, safe and loved with Alexis, and whenever Jason and Drew feel like being fathers, well, they can stop by and do it for a couple of hours. And I'm guessing that both of the men are likely going to tell Alexis no when she says she wants to raise Sam's kids. But once Alexis finds out Jason was playing hostage negotiator and Drew was sexing up his niece-in-law, I think she's going to press the point and take them to court. And as much as she dislikes Ric, I do think he would win this case for her. I don't think Diane would take it because she cares about Jason and he's her client, but you never know. But as we know, Ric is a shark, and Alexis really needs to get those kids away from Drew and Jason before they scar them for life with their casual neglect. Bad dads. That's my opinion. Be sure to share yours, whether you agree or disagree.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.